problem. And thank you so much for coming up. And you can always come up anytime.
All right.
All right. Produced by Meek. Who else? Let's get my man Faucette and let's get my man Tonio, not Tonya. Tonio. All right, we're gonna kind of go into the lightning round here because I got some consultation starting in a little bit. I need to get something to eat. All right, we got my man Faucette Media. He was over there. Darius, I was asking the same question. I was like, what? It kind of pulled me back, right? Shout out to Darius. Philip said he's working from home too. Yes. We got, I mean, Faucette Media. How are you doing? You were over there yesterday chilling with the Lapeef Network, right?
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I usually don't get a chance to check out their lives when they're live, but I've caught clips here and there. And then seeing you on the show is definitely was refreshing because like it kind of changed that energy that they kind of have built in, which I think you were a welcome added component to that show. It's kind of like when Kevin was there. Like I see why Kevin called you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again so much, Kevin Samuels. I appreciate you putting me on game. Yeah. Yes, what's your take on all this situation with the Currys?
Man, it's all over the place, man. I have to say, yeah, I was going to point that out too. North Carolina is probably where the marital home is for the Currys, because I think he was a Charlotte Hornet during the time he played. So you go back to 1988 or whatever. But one point I did want to bring up was the fact that it's rumored that this is a guy she knew since college when they were both in college. So from 1988, he was a football player at Virginia Tech, and DELL was a basketball player, and she ended up with the basketball player as opposed to the football player, which probably was a good choice because he only lasted for about I think 1 season, 2 seasons. But yeah. I just wanted to bring that up as a point because that means there's probably a relationship that's existed throughout the whole marriage. If I had to say, she was going to Tennessee to see him.
Not necessarily. And I remember this, guys. And I can tell you this as a divorce attorney, because what would happen a lot of times is that you would get with someone back in the day. You would get with someone in college. You had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But then you graduate and you go your separate ways, and then you meet somebody else and you get married and you're gone.
Yeah.
There was one thing that changed that. That was the normal course of things. There was one thing that changed that. Does anybody remember what changed that?
Social media.
Well, Wesley
I'll take that. Yes, it was Facebook. It was Wesley Snipes, right? It was Facebook. When Facebook hit, all of the divorce attorneys, the divorces exploded. Why? Because people were reconnecting with their old past boyfriends, old past girlfriends, the high school sweethearts and the college relationships when they were in marriages that had gone stale. And now this new person comes in and provides all of this excitement, all of this nostalgia about how things used to be. And Facebook ruined so many marriages. And so this absolutely could have been one of those things where they had dated back at Tech years ago, but now, 3 years later, or 3 years from today in the past, the football player just sends a little, what do you call it on Facebook? A little IM. This is, hey, you popped up in my feed. How you doing? And now she's like, oh, hey. Yeah. So it's not like they've been connected for the whole 33 years. It could have been just because of Facebook or social media, Instagram, this or that. They have reconnected because of how intertwined we are today, right?
Wait, lead attorney.
Yeah.
Do those relationships because it's like the grass is greener? Do those that were reconnected on social media typically last, or do you see them in the divorce office like 2 years later?
You see them too. See them too. Because again, this is what Nietzsche talked about and how nostalgia really is just a trap. You're thinking back, you're remembering all of the good times, but you're not remembering all of the bad times, right? And because it's new, it's novel, it's this excitement, it's wrong because you're already married, right? And so, with your husband of 12 years, when he walks in the room, it's not like you get butterflies. No one who says, my wife came in, to the house today from Publix and we've been married 12 years and I got butterflies. It's a lie. It's not true. But, when you're sitting in that cafe at Starbucks waiting and your high school sweetheart comes in after 5 years and you've been married, for 4 years and now it's wrong. It's taboo. You haven't seen him in so long. He comes in, he's got the suit and the tie, and you give him a hug and he's smelling good, and those butterflies are going crazy.
And they got to make it happen at that point. They just got to go for it.
I mean, how can you give up butterflies, right? How can you give up the excitement and go back to the same chick? You know, she's walking around the house in Crocs, dirty Crocs. Right? I'm telling you what I see as a divorce attorney, man. It's difficult. It's difficult
dirty
to keep a marriage
Crocs,
together.
pajamas with a bonnet on, with a bonnet.
Yes, it's hardcore.
Man, if you don't take that bonnet off.
Yeah, it's for real. What do you think about this situation, Tonio?
So, because you've been talking about did you grow up with your mom and dad? I did for a moment in time, but my parents split when I was like 3 years old. For Steph Curry to judge his father being 30, I don't agree with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there was a point in time where like I had resentment towards my dad because he was the reason they split. I've talked to both my parents about it, infidelity, whatever, but what I learned is that your parents, a lot of us see them as our hero. So then when you kind of see that they do human things, you kind of freak out a little bit. So, you know, I kind of preteen, teenager had that. But as I got older, my relationship with my father is the best it's ever been. You know, I put myself in his shoes at his age, having me and being with my mom and then going through what they went through. I might have done the same thing, so I can't be casting stones at him. And I think Steph has to look at it from that vantage point. And also, as you said earlier, the legal vantage point. Because he doesn't want to get all his stuff taken, you know, and then his wife has been on the low with another guy who plays sports that got money, and then he paying her to be with him.
Exactly. No, I think you're exactly right. All right, so again, we're in the lightning round, so I'm gonna move some people around. But thank you so much, Tonio, for coming on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Lead. Peace.
All right. And again, I know I shouted her out at the beginning, but you know, I absolutely want to shout her out again. Thank you so much, Chantel Richards, for sponsoring the last live stream. You are so generous and so supportive of not only me, but of the channel as well, and all the people that watch this. So thank you so much, Chantel. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Who we got? Let's bring up Samsung. Samsung, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Lead.
Perfect.
I'm enjoying your show. I'll skip through pretty fast. I'm up here in Toronto. DELL Curry used to play up here.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So listen, I'm just gonna bounce through because I know you're in the lightning round. And respect for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Frank, with the chat when he was chatting with me. So a couple of points. I mean, look, Steph Curry's got feminine energy. Look, he's just playing the game with his agents and his PR telling him, look, you got half these women. You side with that man. You're going to lose all these women. They'll come at you. He'll lose his sponsorships. So it's in his best interest to just, it's in his best. Come on. He'll have all, you know, the black community will come at him, all these other women, and he'll fold, right? Because all he had to do was say, hey, this was a family matter. I'm going to stay out of this. It's between my parents. I don't agree with it, but that's their life. Done.
Right.
So, but instead he's got feminine energy. You know, he's probably got his own problems dealing with his wife, and who knows? So I'm going to move from that point if I can just pivot for one other point and then I'll bounce.
Absolutely.
So thank you. One of the things I wanted to share, because I'm coming across information with the community, and one of the weaknesses I see in particular in the black community is accessing our kids and teaching the adults about investing, like basic crypto stuff, not giving any investment info or nothing like that, just giving basic information, education. So, I mean, you put $10 is all you need, leave it there, and a year, you know, your 10 turns to 1,000, whatever it is. It's just basic info. We're not talking about that. We're spending a little too much time as a whole community talking about Instagram stuff, whereas you're trying to do, as you said, you were going to give up after your 11th show, where it was like you're trying to give information from your 20 plus years experience to say, hey, people, I'm trying to help this community avoid giving your money that belongs to your children. You're taking food out of their pockets out of one day. I mean, you're taking money out of their pockets and food out of their mouth, going through this legal system. So what I'm trying to say is to all of us is, go on YouTube, look up things like coding for kids, and you may come across a video not for you. You know, you don't like that presenter. Find another one, challenge your kids. Tell them, hey, you can make a video game or a part of a game or whatever. Just get them moving on that angle. And then when it comes to crypto, same with the rest of us. You know, I'll keep it simple. You put $1,000 in a month ago, bang, it becomes $2,000. And then we're not talking about speculative nonsense stuff. It's just basic stuff. You treat it like a stock. I mean, so if anybody has any questions, I'll throw an answer. But it's so easy for you guys to do. The hardest step is starting. You literally just link your bank account. They even let you pay with credit cards to buy it, right? So not that I'd advocate for that because you're paying interest on that. But you can just link your bank account or your debit card. So I just want to share that, and thank you for what you're doing. And your YouTube tips and tricks, my one comment, when I looked at your 2 videos, they're broken up into like 3-hour sections. Mm-hmm. If you could please go back, and this would help you, I guess, with the YouTube game. If you could break that up into sections, like 20-minute sections, so we could get each piece that you need, like step 1, 2, 3, 4. Because 3 hours straight, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard. And I'll leave everybody at this last point. I'll leave with this last point. Place for those that are listening, that are interested in starting crypto, because sometimes it's, well, hey, man, where do I start? I didn't start not that long ago. I have a technical background, but you don't need it. I will give you a name and a channel. You can pick. There's many. But one reputable person I found that is kind of like your caliber, it's called Coin Bureau. That's his channel. Very simple. He's got a very simple how to start with crypto, and he explains it in 20-minute videos. Super simple. So I'll leave that. If anybody has a question, happy to answer.
All right.
But DELL Curry was running around here in Toronto. I'm just leaving that. Anybody knows you married to an athlete. And if anybody knows about Toronto, we got the microcosm of every type of mix of woman you can think of. It's here.
That's what's up. So y'all see him right there, Samsung. Thank you so much, Samsung, for coming up. Really appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Take care, Frank.
All right. We got the Deadbeat Dad here. Deadbeat Dad. Thank you so much, Deadbeat Dad, for the super chat. What does Deadbeat Dad say? These comments from Steph and his wife have not been verified. The info came from an insider. Is this not hearsay? Why are we critiquing a man over hearsay? And this is a good point. It hasn't been verified yet. This is what's come out. I will say this though. You know, people are saying, and it's all over. It's not just me, right? It's all over. People are pointing this out that he sided with the mom. Do you know what Steph has not come out and done? He hasn't clarified it. If a man put me in the NBA, and if a man was my father, and a man loved me, and all these reports saying, no, I'm sided with my mom, and it wasn't true, I could just pick up my phone and send out a tweet that would dispel it all. Mm-hmm. I could send out a 9-word tweet that would dispel it all. You know what he has not done? That. He hasn't done it. Right? So why hasn't he done it? These aren't the days like, 15 years ago where you needed to call a press conference and ABC shows up, CBS shows up, NBC shows up, and you're outside of the steps of your house on your lawn. These days, all you do is pick up a phone. And he's chosen not to do it. So he's letting this insider information run wild. Why? Right? His wife can get on the phone and post a damn bikini picture. Why can't he pick up the phone and support his father? So, you raise a good point, Deadbeat Dad, but I think I raise a good point too. If this is the man that you love so much, why can't you pick up the phone and send out a 9-word tweet and support him? If your wife can pick up the same phone and show everybody what sleeps next to you, her in a bikini. I think it's interesting. But thank you so much for the super chat. It's super generous, and it's a great point. And Mithrin, my man Mithrin, you guys are looking at a new attorney, a baby attorney just past the bar. Shout out to Mithrin. I'm going out, and Mithrin's coming right back in. I'm going out. Mithrin is coming right back in. Shout out to Mithrin, right? All right, we got 2 left. We got Truth Teller. Truth Teller, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing, Lee?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
All right, so what do you think about this Curry situation?
It's a couple of things. So I'm an experienced person in that my parents.
Let me tell you, your sound is pretty bad. Are you in a big room or something?
Actually, I am.
It sounds very live. Your room. It's hard to hear you.
It's the gym.
I can hear it. Guys, I'm getting good at identifying places. I asked this man, I was like, are you in a big room? He's like, yeah, I'm in the gym. Last stream, I was like, are you in a restaurant? The dude was like, yeah, I'm in Panera eating. I'm getting good. Like, I'm becoming a real YouTuber, right? I'm going to be like a bloodhound pretty soon.
You identified those crickets outside the window with that other person.
That's
remember?
exactly right. I can hear the crickets. I can hear everything. Give me next year. I'm going to be like, are you in Gate C at Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport? Like, yeah, I'm going to Miami. Like, I can hear it. I can hear it, right? So shout out to Truth Teller. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, that's better. Thank you so much. So what do you think about the Curry situation?
Well, I have experience where my parents divorced after I was an adult.
Okay.
So I was 35 years old when my parents divorced. So I've been in his particular situation, and there's no reason for him to take a side. What
Right.
I do think is he's taking a side because of his wife. In my opinion, she's the journeywoman of his mother. So in that sense, she's probably looking at him like, well, you can't let him do this to her kind of thing, which he doesn't seem to have a backbone, so he'll probably fall in line, which is probably why you haven't seen that tweet or Instagram post or anything saying, hey, I'm not taking a side in this. These are my parents. I love them. This is their business, their relationship, and they will handle it accordingly. Because that's a much easier way for him to, get out of his whole situation. And just like you said, he's not doing so. So his back is against the wall. And it is what it is. It's a bad move on him. That's his father. And it's always going to be his father, no matter if they're divorced or married. He shouldn't involve himself in taking a side in this particular situation.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
I do think I need to give you a warning though.
Okay.
Kay, I love Kay. Kay is a habitual sidestepper. Okay? You have to be careful. The questions she asked you are very good questions. The problem is she was asking those questions that she asked you are for experts. Problem is she was asking those same questions to people who weren't experts before you got on the phone. So you don't ask expert questions to people who aren't experts.
Melissa's Laura's still here. Laura, did Lauren send you? Are you a plant?
No.
Did Lauren send you?
I like her
Laura
too.
was like, man, Truth Teller, go over to the lead attorney's channel and clear this up right now.
And tell the truth.
Shout out to Laura.
You just gotta be careful, because if she decides to habitually sidestep you in the conversation, you might feel a little bit differently in that particular discussion. So
I had the same feeling as the lead attorney. Like I said, I'm not as familiar with the network and the show, but I felt like she was making good points too.
She was.
Well, now here's the thing on that one though. She might try. Go ahead.
No, she does, and she's a smart lady. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to think I downplay. I like her because she brings flavor to it. It's just that I don't like the sidestepping, and she does it a lot. And it could get annoying when you're talking, really, even with men, when we're having a conversation and we're trying to get an answer, and you're doing your best to give a political response when there's no politics involved, other than what's in your mind. So if you sidestep every question, hey, what's your opinion on this? And suddenly we're in a conversation where you're asking somebody else a question and you haven't answered the initial question,
That's actually media training, though. That's literally what they train you to do.
Here's the thing, though. It won't work with TLA. TLA is a pro at putting you. So, yeah, that might be interesting right there to see.
So putting him in that scenario will make her look good, because he's going to be able to answer her questions and she won't be able to counter any of them.
Right.
If you watched the call last night, she was countering everything everybody said with one point when they asked her straight up, do you think the family laws need to be reviewed and revised since they're from the 1950s? She kept asking for a specific law. Well, anybody with any common sense knows that it's not just one law for family law. But everyone was playing into her saying, give me one law, instead of saying, my first response was all of them.
But that's an answer in itself.
Right.
That's an answer. The sidestep is an answer if she doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, I'll have to check out more of their content. But
their content is awesome. I love them.
Kay
I watch
Kay was killing it today. Yeah, so shout out to Kay.
I like Kay. I like going back and forth. So she's awesome with that. But the sidestepping, man, oh my god, I can shoot myself sometimes.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And Hotep says, why are we talking about the Lapeef Show? Shout out to the Lapeef Show. They had me on yesterday. They were gracious enough to let me hop on their platform, and we talked about a lot of interesting things. So if you want to go check them out, I think the video should be up already. You can go back and if it's up, I don't know if it's up or not. I think it's up. You can go back and check it out, and you'll see me on there. So shout out to the Lapeef Show. All right, and thank you so much, Truth Teller, for coming up. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, sir, for your show. Appreciate it.
My man in the gym. He over there in LA Fitness. He on the basketball court.
Reps in.
I watch it, but this is your show. I get it. I get it, Hotep, and I appreciate you riding with me. I really do. But I also want to shout them out because they were super gracious in having me on. But thank you so much, Hotep, for always riding for your boy. I appreciate your support. Thank you, Hotep Rail. Shout out to Hotep Rail in the house. All right, we got my man. Let me close this out right quick. LA Stewart, old man on the block. Shout out to old man on the block. I remember you.
Yes.
You got into it with Bolo TV. Shout out, Bolo TV, right?
Yes.
Bolo TV is also a huge supporter over there with Anton and the Lapeef Network. So shout out to both of y'all.
And I got jokes, and then I'm gonna give my quick review.
Yes.
You're always screaming about backsliding boys.
Yes.
I'm calling you backsliding TLA because you was backsliding on Lauren yesterday. I saw that.
Backsliding on Lauren?
Every time Lauren showed up now.
Listen, I'm super respectful. I mean, Lauren can have a man at home. All right, listen, I'm gonna play it cool. Listen, I ain't never gonna piss off no dude because the lead attorney's hitting on his girl, right? It's just, it's not that deep.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. I'm going to say this real quick because I know you have to go.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to kind of back off of Steph Curry because I have been a married man and I know what it's like to be in the middle of a situation as a grown adult. I was in the middle when I was dealing with my mother and at that time dealing with my wife. And that's a hard position for a man to be into when he's dealing with two different sides of the family. And being that she jumped out early, to my understanding, we don't really understand where Steph Curry is really at. And I totally agree with the last caller, at least his first part, about, more likely he can't really speak on it because he don't really want to take a side. We don't know what the economic ramification is. We don't know what the peace in his home needs to be because we're not in his home. We're just speculating from the outside in and not really knowing what's going on the inside. We got to remember, he's trying to save his family or he's trying to save the money that he has invested. And that's a hard position to be in when you're not sure, what's really going on.
Yeah, it's true. And as a divorce attorney, you always see that too. You never really know what's going on in the house. And I wanted to be fair and say, hey, it's not like DELL was an angel. I talked about it at the very beginning. Right. At the very beginning, black man in the 80s, NBA player, got money, and he light skin. Come on, man.
I'm gonna call you out. How do y'all forget that the one man that put that white, black, light skin, dark skin out there? Give a shout out to Spike Lee. Spike Lee blew up the game when he did Do the Right Thing and School Days. School Days is what made the dark-skinned man in. It was School Days that flipped that whole conversation around.
What's it? School
It might have planted the seed. It might have planted the seed. School Days.
I'm a historian. You talking about the
he talked about it. I don't think he said this.
I think you might be
giving as far as black men. Who was
because remember in School Days now, you talked about the nappy hair, straight hair.
But that was women. That was the women.
That was women.
Yeah, but no, because remember Lawrence Fishburne played in it and he had to go after the Afrocentric versus the non-Afrocentric.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that was women. He went after the.
He was just laying the seed. Yeah, I don't think he set the stage, but he kind of talked about it.
Yeah, it was happening. It was working, but it was definitely down the line. And Wesley Snipes, you're right. Put the nail in the coffin.
Now, when Wesley Snipes came on, you got to admit now that was the brother that flipped the whole game.
So it's interesting because I also think this.
Hold on, right quick. I just got a question. I keep seeing this. Who is Kay Cooper?
I don't know.
I keep seeing this. I don't know who K Cooper is. Oh, I'm sorry about that. This is like my 4th time seeing it, and I don't know who it is. Okay, but no, I think we see where you're coming from. But Spike Lee had a hand in it. We ain't gonna deny it. But to say that he was he was a big catalyst. I don't know about that, but he played a part. He played a part. So I give you that.
But Frank, I will subscribe to your channel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Finesse Lead
My name's
Attorney.
Frank too.
Trying to encourage
Oh, that's
and yours too.
Franks.
That's
right.
They're trying to
Two
get
black
me
Franks.
to,
That never happens.
Start a YouTube channel. So but my channel that I'm looking at is going to be really taking biblical principles and applying it to what's going on right now on YouTube, because I feel that a lot of people throwing a lot of stuff around. So I just want to come in with a biblical perspective, a theological perspective, as well as a political and social perspective, because there's a lot of things. So yeah, I am the one that debated Bolo, and
Is your link here? Because I definitely want to subscribe to your channel and check.
Well, right now I haven't gotten it up, so you can beat me up for that. So hopefully, I don't know how much lead attorney's courses is. He's a big man now, so I used to get him for $5. Now you got to pay, I mean, he done jumped the block. You ain't putting 50 on the books. He don't want to talk to you.
You crazy. I love all you guys, but then y'all like complain when it's why you read the $2 super chats. That's why your videos are not ours, right? So I hear you. But listen, thank you so much for coming up. Really appreciate it. You can always come up anytime. Love the knowledge that you bring.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Right,
thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm sorry. I thought K Cooper was somebody affiliated with the show because I kept seeing her name over and over. I don't know. It's hard, guys. I'm trying to do so much over here. Shout out to K Cooper. I see her right there.
Shout out.
I thought she might have been part of the Lapeef network, right? So shout out to her. So any last words, Faucette Media, on this issue?
I think it's funny because in the comments there were people that were resistant to talking about the colorism debate, but I think it's a central character in this Curry saga if you look at it, and it's something that we don't talk about enough as a community about how it's kind of flipped on its head. It's really just kind of right now it's very people have set up their sides in the argument and it's very set and people don't want to ruffle it, I think. But I think this might be time to talk about colorism again, especially as it pertains to men.
No, I hear you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Faucette Media. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
And then we got Frank.